The air in the kitchen felt wrong, like the moment before a storm breaks. I stood at the counter, chopping carrots for dinner, when Claire's voice sliced through the quiet. "It's over, David." Her words were ice, sharp and unyielding, delivered without a glance from her phone. I froze, the knife hovering midair, my heart stumbling over itself. "What?" I managed, my voice a stranger's, thin and unsteady. She didn't look up. "Our marriage. It's done. You'll hear from my lawyer." The room tilted. The carrots blurred into orange smears, and the knife clattered to the counter. 20 years together, and she said it like she was canceling a subscription. I stared at her, waiting for the punchline, the softening smile she used to flash when she teased me. But her face was a closed door, lips tight, eyes fixed on her screen, her manicured fingers tapping out a rhythm that excluded me. "Claire, what are you talking about?" My voice cracked, betraying the panic clawing my chest. I stepped toward her, but she slid her chair back, a deliberate inch, her eyes finally meeting mine. They were cold, polished stones. "Don't make this harder than it needs to be," she said. "I'm done pretending. You'll get the papers soon. Just deal with it." Pretending? The word lodged in my throat like a bone. I wanted to scream, to demand answers, but my tongue felt heavy, useless. I thought of the late nights she'd spent working, the new perfume that clung to her clothes, the way her laughter had stopped reaching her eyes. Red flags I'd brushed off as stress, as her climbing the corporate ladder. I'd told myself we were fine, that love weathers silences. Now those silences roared. I sank into a chair, the wood creaking under my weight. The kitchen smelled of garlic and regret, the half-cooked stew simmering on the stove. Our home, our life was in this room. The chipped mug she'd bought on our honeymoon, the fridge magnets from vacations we'd sworn to repeat. "Claire," I said, quieter now, "talk to me. Please." "What did I do?" She sighed, a sound so dismissive it cut deeper than her words. "It's not about what you did, David. It's about what I need. And this," she waved a hand vaguely at me, "at our life. This isn't it." Her phone buzzed, and her eyes flicked to it, a faint smile ghosting her lips. That smile was a blade. Someone else was on the other end of that buzz, someone who wasn't me. I don't know how long I sat there, staring at the table's worn grain, tracing the scars from years of shared meals. My mind replayed moments. Her late returns, the locked bathroom door when she took calls, the way she'd started wearing heels at home, like she was auditioning for a life I wasn't part of. I'd rationalized it all because love is a fool's game, and I'd been the fool. Was there someone else? The question slipped out, raw and desperate. Her pause was answer enough. She stood, smoothing her skirt, her movements precise, practiced. "I'm not doing this," she said. "My lawyer will handle everything. Don't call me, David. Don't show up at my office. Just let it go." She walked out, her heels clicking on the hardwood like a countdown. The front door closed, and the house swallowed the sound, leaving me in a silence that screamed. I didn't move. Couldn't. My hands trembled, and something hot and wet burned my cheeks. I wasn't crying, not yet, but my body knew what my mind refused to accept. The next hours blurred. I wandered the house, a ghost in my own life. Her side of the closet was half empty, her jewelry box gone. She'd been planning this, packing up her life while I cooked her dinner. The betrayal wasn't just in her words. It was in the premeditation, the cold efficiency of her exit. I found her wedding ring on the nightstand, a glinting accusation. I held it, the metal warm from my grip, and something in me cracked. But then in the study I found it. Her laptop, forgotten in her rush to leave. It was open, the screen glowing faintly. A message thread stared back at me, her name in bold. Mark. My stomach twisted. Mark, her colleague, the one she'd mentioned in passing, always with a casual shrug. I shouldn't have looked, but pain is a reckless driver. I scrolled. The messages were a gut punch. Flirty at first, then intimate, then brazen. Dates, hotels, promises of a future without me. "He's so predictable," she'd written. "He'll never see it coming." My breath caught. She'd planned this for months, maybe longer. I was a footnote in her story, a man she'd reduced to simple and powerless. But I wasn't powerless. Not entirely. I'd spent years building my own company, quietly, in the background of her ambition. She'd never cared to ask about it, assuming it was a hobby, a side hustle. She didn't know about the contracts, the investors, the leverage I'd amassed. She thought me small, but I'd been biding my time, letting her shine. Love does that, makes you shrink to fit someone else's story. I closed the laptop, my hands steady now. Anger replaced the ache, a slow burn that sharpened my edges. Claire thought she could walk away, leave me to her lawyer's mercy. But she didn't know me, not really. I pulled out my phone, dialed my attorney, and spoke in a voice I barely recognized. Start digging, I said. Everything, her accounts, her emails, her deals. I want it all. The next morning, I sat at the kitchen table, the same one where she'd gutted me. My lawyer's email was open, a dossier of Claire's secrets. Offshore accounts, hidden assets, and a paper trail linking her to Mark's company. She'd been siphoning money, playing both sides. I wasn't just her husband. I was her Mark. When her lawyer called, I let it go to voicemail. I didn't need to hear her script. I pictured Claire, smug in her new life, thinking she'd won. But I had her laptop, her secrets, and 20 years of knowing her weaknesses. The ring sat on the table, catching the morning light. I didn't need it anymore. I stood, my reflection sharp in the window. The man staring back wasn't broken. He was awake. Claire thought she'd written the ending, but I was rewriting it. She'd hear from my lawyer soon.